Thanks for stopping by. I am your tsundere streamer who doesn't stream, Lunar Dee Eight. Greetings one and all to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar Dee Eight. This is Let's Read Umineko When the Seagulls Cry. It's a visual novel. This is part 69. We are currently in episode 4. We are not even halfway done with this story. It's a very long story, but it's a very good story. It is January 28th, 2026, 10:39 a.m. America time. I hope everyone has some ice-cold Pepsi and all the hugs and head pats you could ever want or need. If you want suggestions of videos of mine to check out, check the description or the comments. In particular, I would definitely suggest Super Meat Boy. But that's not why you're here. Let's go and hop on into this. Sorry to keep you waiting. As I double check OBS Chan. Bah. Yep, all good. Now the curtain finally rises on the first twilight. Cackle. That Kenzo, I see he loves being flashy as usual. So even that man, who can be more persistent than anything when he follows you around, can shine so when on the stage. Damn. Always killing in a grotesque way as usual. Smashing half of their heads. The bad taste you witches and demons have always pisses me off. Smashing half of their heads. I see. Yes, again, Kairi, I think, looks like Ivy from Soul Calibur 2, the PS2 fighting game. Also, she looks like Sare, the VTuber, and Kaoru Nagisa, Kaoru from Evangelion. But yeah, Ivy from Soul Calibur 2. So she's realized that in the games up until now, that's been the most ideal method of killing. Ideal. How is such a grotesque way of killing ideal? Isn't it, though? Try and remember the very first game. You. So you're that new demon or whatever that just appeared? Damn, so does this mean that the witch's corrosion continued, and that there are now even more creeps wandering around? The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rakanjima tilts toward the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. This island has been closed off by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more the corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now, there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. If the corrosion advances any further and even more weird people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? Or maybe they won't be wearing anything at all. It's so scary, I can't imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore. Cackle. I can't do that. They'll keep increasing more and more. I'll defile the foolish closed circle rule humans speak of over and over again. Welcome to my elegant game, Gape. It's been a long time, Riche? How do you pronounce this? Have you been well? Why? Is it like the last part of the Beatrice? It kind of reminds you guys remember Dragon Ball Kai? Well, the Team 4-star version of it. You had like they made nicknames of just using the last part of people's names. Let's see, there was Ginger, Vinegar, Mustard. You can see how mustard would be problematic using the last part of that word. Then again, while Team 4-star is good, I always had a bit of a soft spot and preference for Gozar's alternate reality Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I will try to remember to put, I guess, probably a ton of links in the description and comments. Why do I ask? You look great. Have you gotten younger? You look 200 or 300 years younger than when I last saw you. Ah, I see. The demon grandfather had summoned you and introduced as Gape, took a glance at me and then grinned as though she'd figured out something out on her own. That smile felt openly obscene. I guess she's Beethoven's friend, which means she's got to be a creep among creeps. By the way, they were saying something about a closed circle or whatever, but what does that mean? Serial murder mystery novels that occur in places isolated from the outside world, like Rakanjima's now, are sometimes called closed circles. Since such a place is isolated from the outside, it's like a circle that's closed. Therefore, in general, the characters and suspects are limited in number. Having new suspect candidates added one after another from the outside, the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels. In other words, the witch is probably trying to desecrate humans and the mystery genre itself. You're Gretel? I see. You look like a wise kid, Giggle. I love kids like you. You taste so sweet and tantalizing. Gross. Keep the jokes to your clothing. It's devilish pretty, newest Jack the Ripper Christmas blood. Sorry for having a style that a country bumpkin from the human world couldn't understand, okay? At least we know it's well ventilated. Why don't you add a gap to the head part as well? Let a little air into your brain. Gape is always sensitive to the fashions of the spirit world, but this year's fad truly is bold. I think I'll order one sometime. For you, Riche, I'd recommend the Allegre Alice in the Graveyard. That kind of reminds me, there was a game called Alice Madness Returns or something. Though there was an older version of it too. I can't quite remember the name of that one. Let's go to the 666 sometime soon to look at the clothes. I feel like that's a... Like, are we... I feel like we're referencing some, like, store that would be at a mall or something, but I'm not sure. You really should stop by the spirit world every now and then. When this game is over, I'll be sure to do that, Cackle. Still, your two opponents are pretty cute, Riche. It looks like this kid has figured out the meaning of the corpses with their heads half smashed. Know what that is, girl? Just now she told me to remember the first game. What did that mean? Just what it sounds like. Remember the first twilight of the very first game, when the adults' corpses were found in the gardening shed with a magic circle drawn on it, remember? Episode 1. The First Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died. At that time, there were 2 types of corpses. Some had their faces pulverized, and some had half of their faces pulverized. That's right. The ones with their faces smashed were Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, and Goda. The ones with the sides of their heads smashed were Kraus and Shannon. At the time, I thickly created 2 types of corpses, but I realized that the former, more atrocious type was actually disadvantageous for me. Disadvantageous for you. I see. So that's what this is. Are you saying about how you couldn't confirm the identity of the corpse? That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon Chan had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half of their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But Dad and the other 3 were different. Because his face had been completely destroyed, even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained vague until the end whether that really had been Dad's corpse. If this reasoning battle had taken place during the first game as well, I probably would have claimed that since the identities of Dad and the rest bodies were impossible to confirm, there was a possibility that one was a fake corpse. After all, Beato didn't state anything in red during the game. Well done, correct. A faked death is one of the basics of the mystery genre. If even you make a doctor examine the corpse, you can't trust the results if you suspect him of being the culprit's accomplice. Therefore, corpses that can't guarantee a death for certain are always disadvantageous for the witch's side. You can suspect faked deaths for all corpses, hypothesizing that one or more of them is the culprit for the crimes that follow. It's a move Battler doesn't like, but it's the most elementary move to use against a witch. Yeah, that's right. That's why Beato started using the red. With the red truth, she can carry out a perfect autopsy. Cackle, cackle. That's how it is. Normally, for the first Twilight, I would use the red truth right away, confirming the deaths of these 6. However, as you know, my battle strategy this time is the complete opposite of the previous games, and I'll now use the red truth starvation tactics. Since you use it as a grounding from which to counterattack, I will not use the red easily. I'll make you come apart at the seams by using red in just a single place as rarely as possible. In the end, it means I will permit all rants regarding your guesswork for all the closed rooms, and I only have to smash one of those once with the red truth. Hee. Even though you've always teased me, once I start counterattacking, you now hole up back inside your shell. Quit kidding around. At any rate, I do not want to use the red. I want to be stingy. I want to bully Battler. But how could I guarantee a death for certain without using red? I worried and worried over it, then Gape gave me an idea. It truly is a simple method. Cackle, cackle. I just pointed out something obvious and you hit upon the idea, Ricci. I simply said that you only had to create corpses whose identities could be distinguished and whose complete death would be understood. In short, I put those 2 things together, the face which is necessary to distinguish their identity, and the pulverization of the head and the vessel for the soul which is perfect symbol of death. When I put those 2 parts neatly together, wonderful, I came with a perfect answer for the corpses with their heads half smashed. I'll bet you love 2-colored bread and 2-colored ice cream. You're just like a greedy kid. At any rate, even if half of their heads are smashed, we shouldn't assume that they're dead at this point in time. I get it. Since Beato is trying to act tough and is refusing to say anything in red, we've got to suspect everything. Of course, I'm definitely not going to swallow the theory of magical mass murder by Chister-ass Nachans. Giggle. You sure have gotten prudent. If this were the first game, you would have swallowed everything. Dumb bitch noises. I wouldn't have anything less from a rifle. Since there is fortunately no red now, he can imagine whatever he wants and reason over and over again as he likes. At the very end, at the very sweetest spot, I'll cut him down at once with the red truth. So how's everyone doing today? Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit, and the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. I have a question. That thing where, like, Rosa's been, like, abandoning her child to go off with her boyfriend for days. Is the boyfriend Kenzo? After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew more, the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make the mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light, but even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter-patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she stared in the direction the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. Hi, Sakutaro! Right, Rosa did kind of murder you, and I still feel angry at her for this. I mean, you did kind of like rip him in half in front of Maria, scream, and then yell at her, your friend is dead. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. Why do I feel like he is fucking Gravemind from the Halo franchise? Like I am the remembrance of all your sins, Rosa. Though that reminds me of an odd thing. Am I the only one, like I'm looking forward to Halo Campaign Evolved for the PS5, but I'm the only one, like I would like to see a collaborative stream of Kirsche Verstal, the Fox Girl VTuber, and Alex Jones, where they just sort of talk about whatever it is that they share an interest in. But imagine like if the two of them played Halo Campaign Evolved co-op together. Even if it was just like online. Figured that'd be hilarious. Does anyone else think that'd be cool to watch? That, and I just think that they would do a good job as, collaborative streams together. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart. You? Ah? The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt the pain in half her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face. Are you all right? Does it still hurt? Thanks. I'm fine, little guy. Where are we? It's really cold. Come this way. You mustn't stay here. That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal sensation. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself. Are you okay? I'm sorry, my head hurts. When the kid said that infantile word, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so frankly, I'm sorry, could you stop saying Uryu? Uryu? Wait a second, didn't I tell you to stop? Sorry. I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around this child, my head hurts. Are you okay? Let's go quickly. You mustn't stay here. Why shouldn't I be here? Hey, where is this? Who are you? Where is your mama? The one who made me? Is you, mama? Huh? The child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all. Did you forget about me? You made me, right? Wait a second, stop kidding around. Maria is my only child. That's right, where is Maria? Where is she? Maria? I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being here. There, why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me. Maria is here, but she's not Maria now. It's better if you don't meet with her now. That's better for your sake and Maria's as well. For Maria's sake as well. Escape. Huh? What are you saying? Where is Maria? Maria? Answer me. Maria's gonna find you. Come this way quickly, Mama. The child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped walking, let go. Just who are you? What gives you the right to call me Mama? Mama is the one who made me. Did you forget? For Maria's birthday present, you made me with your own hands. Did you forget? You couldn't be. Maria's Sakutaru? Yes, the lion-stuffed animal Mama made. Gah! A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there. Deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see through to the other side. Uryu. Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? Sakutaro noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury, but in my eyes it felt like I had been injured because he grabbed my hand. Regardless of whether there was malice in him, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie. Go away. You have nothing to do with me. Sakutaro was just a disgusting, crappy, stuffed animal, right? I don't know you. I'm not your mama. Go away. Disappear. You? Slowly, the base of Sakutaro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it. Only an empty blackness peeked out. Then, from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth, and bits of cotton that looked sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion stuffed animal. Without a doubt, these were the remains of the Sakutaro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day, while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Wah, Sakutaro wah. Like a flood from a broken dam or like a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away and hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. I mean, you are the one who made Sakutaro, and the crumpled up thing is right there. You could fix him. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly, and then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me even though I had apologized. And there was nothing else I could do now anyway. And it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she was too busy playing with the stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make any friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. This is a perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sister and father and mother. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents. Throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did. So I always held back. It's because I held it back that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. At that moment, I felt something strange. The same feeling as when you see a tool recklessly. When you use a tool recklessly, and it finally breaks, so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So, I looked at my hands. From my wrists onwards, my hands had broken off, splintered, and disappeared, as though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. No, as though all of me, from the wrists onward, had suddenly become ceramic, and had broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? Eek. There was no pain. But the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. What is this? What is this? My hands, my hands, my hands. Eek! The apocalypse must be televised. Why do I feel like I'm hearing like Disturbed, the vengeful one right now? Maria's just a little bit angry, Rosa. Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. This way, you won't be able to hit me anymore. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head where they had been defending against my barrage. What's happening? My hands, my hands. What did you do, Maria? What is this? What on earth is this? Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was a silhouette of an adult. Who? If she'd used those hands for patting her daughter's head, flipping through picture books, or making warm meals. It may have been worth leaving them on. Mama hit my head more than she patted it. She never opens picture books. She doesn't even make me food. I go to buy it myself. But I mustn't go to the same store more than once. Mustn't have my face remembered. Mustn't talk to the policeman. Why? Why is that? Is it my fault? Am I not allowed to have Mama pat my head, have picture books read to me? Or eat dinner with Mama? Why not? Why not? I didn't do anything wrong. It isn't my fault. It's Mama's. Mama's fault. Mama wouldn't play with me, but Sakutaro did. He even read books and watched TV and ate meals with me. He was a much, much better friend than Mama was. I'm not proud of it. But what am I supposed to do? I'm busy with work. Work, I tell you. You know that, right? I mean, your work did say you took a 3-day vacation while leaving your child home alone to eat ramen noodles while you went and ate like an all-you-can-eat crab thing. But then again, I'm kind of suspecting that the boyfriend in question was Kinzo and that you were like being forced against your will. Or am I just grasping at straws to try to make it where you're not as bad as, you know... Because like I said, given your behavior and stuff, I feel like you shouldn't have custody of a child or, you know, not be in prison. It was unavoidable. There's nothing I can do. True enough. Gatorade's good. Would be nice if I had Pepsi, though. True enough, it was unavoidable. Unavoidable that you'd injure your daughter, tearing her heart apart and making her tears run with blood. In that case, there's no avoiding the same thing happening again, right here, right now. Come, Maria. Enough of the excuses from a woman who calls herself a mother. Can you forgive her or not? Is she innocent or guilty? I won't forgive her. Mama's guilty. I'll make Mama meet the same fate she gave to Sakutaro. Take Mama from the seam at the neck and tear her apart so we can see the cotton inside her. Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, an invisible massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms, from the time she'd torn Sakutaru apart. From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Then, as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakutaru had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes. But in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red of blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. "Why is all your blood coagulated, Rosa? That shouldn't happen unless oxygen's exposed to your raw blood." "This is incredible. Hideous." "What filthy insides." "Splendidly done, Maria. Well then, is this enough for your revenge? Can you forgive your mother or not? Innocent or guilty?" "I can't forgive her. Still can't forgive her. She's guilty." When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant. Ak, gua, cough, cough. Feel the depths of your sin. Feel the depths of your sin, which cannot be repaid by a single human life, and remember your own great sin. Come, try and remember. Remember the scale of your sin. Hello? Is it Mama? When will you get home? I'm sorry, I'm busy with work today, so I'm staying over. Staying over for work again? Looks like work is tough for you again today, Mama. Yeah, sorry. I really am busy. I'll be holed up in the company the whole time. I can't even get a breath of outside air. Mama just can't finish her job quickly this time. Unless I give them a better design, I won't be given another job, and that's how tough this work is. So it'll just have to take some time. Yeah, I understand. I'll be a good girl and watch over the house. And there's the fact that you basically were leaving her alone all the time. Like it was a thing that happened hundreds of times. And that many times there were like situations where you're leaving her alone for like 3 days on end with no supervision. And when you are home, you're usually yelling at her or hitting her. It's like it's not really nice. I can't say I feel a whole lot of sympathy for you, Rosa. Not a nice person. Yeah, I understand. I'll be a good girl and watch over the house. So do your best, finish it quickly, and come back, okay? Thank you for understanding about Mama's work. I promise I'll buy a delicious cake tomorrow and take it home. I don't need cake. Instead of taking time to go to the cake store, I'd be happier if you came home that much sooner. Don't worry. I'll come back quickly, I promise. So let's have some delicious cake together. Let's drink delicious tea together. Let's read a new picture book together. Let's play with the wolves and sheep puzzle I bought the other day. Both of us together, I promise. Yeah, promise. I'll be waiting. Do your best at work, Mama. Ho ho. It's a lonely story. But it isn't this. Mother-daughter love wonderful, with both looking out for the other. Do you see any problem with it, Maria? Rosa? Ellipses. Sound of silence of... It's like, It's like... Try to explain this, Rosa. I kept that promise, didn't I? The next evening, didn't I do as I promised, buying a cake and returning earlier than usual? Here's a question. Where were you when you were staying over? Were you working? Were you? Were you? Because there's multiple times you went for like multiple day vacations at like resorts and luxury things while leaving your child alone to eat raw like ramen and shit. Like in general, like between the amount of neglect and just the fact that you were like hitting her and yelling at her all the time and saying mean things, Did you, like, care if she lived or died? So it seems like you actually hated her and were a very lazy, selfish person. I would even go so far as say that you're at least a little bit abusive to her. That's not it. I knew. That evening, a pay-on-delivery package came for Mama, but there wasn't enough money in the wallet, so I called Mama's company to ask what to do. I was told only to call at special times, but I thought it'd be bad if the package was something important for Mama's work, so I called. Then I was told that Mama had the day off. I was told that it had been decided long ago that Mama would have that day off, and that she'd gone far away to play. I knew. The whole time, I knew Mama was lying. But you know what? Sakutaru scolded me, saying that it wasn't true. Every day, Mama was very busy with work, but Sakutaru kept telling me that you loved me. There was no way she'd abandon Maria and play. He said that the person who told us Mama had the day off must have made some kind of mistake. That's what Sakutaru said. So I believed it. I believed it. I love Mama. Love her. Of course, Mama says that she loves me. Loves me. Yes, me too. I love you, Maria. Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below. The windows stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below. You didn't tell your daughter you were on vacation? I told her once, but she was so noisy that I decided not to tell her anymore. It's less work that way. If you were worried about your daughter, you didn't have to force yourself to put this in your schedule, right? But that way, we'd never get our schedules to match. Didn't I say not to worry about that? The slender middle-aged man, clad in a white robe, gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action. Come on. Let's not talk about my daughter. It'd be a waste of this precious wine. I find you fascinating as both a woman and a human being. But for that very reason, I feel bad about taking so much of your time that it strains your relationship with your daughter. Don't I always tell you not to worry about my relationship with my daughter? I try not to talk about her when I'm alone with you, okay? I wouldn't even have phoned from here if it weren't for the noisy drunk laughing stupidly in the lobby downstairs. Rosa-san, can't you reconsider taking sudden vacations like this in the future for your daughter's sake? Isn't it enough if we only meet when our schedules match? Our schedules will never match up that way, right? And I always want to be with you. That's a child's way of loving. Loving between adults should be a little bit more stoic. Not being able to be with you for long periods of time makes me lonely too. However, I think we can enjoy more than enough adult loving during that limited time. So you're telling me to go be with my daughter more? Be a mother, not a woman? That's what you want too, right? You must also want to spend lots of time with your daughter. I won't run away. I'm trying to say that I think it's sad for you to sacrifice your daughter so you can prioritize your time with me. Did you get back on good terms with your wife? Looks like you've had about enough of being separated from her. I don't want to talk about my wife, just like you don't want to talk about your daughter. I'm sure you think single women with children are a pain. I've never said anything of the sort before. Whenever someone finds out I have a child, they desert me. Even if I tell them not to worry about paying the child's living expenses, they all desert me. I thought you understood about my daughter. The dude even said he wasn't going to leave you. He actually is concerned about your child's well-being. He's not going to leave you because of the child. He's going to leave you because, you're kind of disgusting. It's not a concern of like, oh, you have a child and I'm worried about taking care of the kid. It's an issue of the way you're treating this child, who is supposed to be a very precious person to you. If you treat her that way, I mean, how can I, with any amount of respect or dignity, have any interest in you without being completely disgusted with myself for wanting to even touch someone who is as horrible as that, to just treat their child that badly? Let alone if you're going to treat your child that badly, well, how are you going to treat me? What if we have a kid together? How are you going to treat that child? But the biggest thing is just, yeah, it's not an issue of you as a woman, and it's not even an issue with you as a mother in terms of like, that's fine that you have a kid. I mean, it's the fact that, you know, you're treating that child really badly and neglecting them and don't seem to give a shit about them. So at that point, it's like the person's like, heck, I'm pretty sure most of the previous guys in this situation, given the way the person's behaving, it's like, it's not like they're leaving you because you have a kid. They're leaving you because they see like how you're treating that child. And they're like, yeah, we're not leaving you because you're a single mother. It's like, we're leaving you because we're disgusted with you as a person because of your behavior and because of the way you treat someone that should be the most precious person in the world to you. But I guess you don't like single women with children after all. That's not what I'm saying. I haven't started to dislike you, Rosa-san. It also feels like she's trying to deflect, project, gaslight, manipulate. Heck, I even like the way she's like talking about this. It almost sounds like Rosa's gonna like violently lash out at him. I'm just trying to tell you to take better care of your daughter, something I know you wish for yourself, and I don't want you to hurt yourself by lying to her. That's all I'm saying. Liar. I've just become a burden for you, right? Why are you, like, redirecting this? It's like, oh, we're talking about you, but rather than address the thing where you're being a terrible person, you're just going to, like, lash out and attack me. It's like, what the fuck? That's not what I'm saying. No, I know, I understand. After being abandoned so many times because of that child, I know. Again, I don't think these guys are abandoning you or leaving you because you're a mother. I don't think they're leaving you because of that. I think they're leaving you because you're a really angry person and you're yelling a lot and you seem to have psychological problems and you are kind of scary and also you're kind of negligent and abusive to your child. So it's like you meet, it'd be like, imagine if you met somebody, regardless of like what gender orientation you are, whether, you know, you're a guy who likes women or a guy who likes guys or a woman who likes women or a woman who likes guys. If you get with like let's flip this scenario around. Let's say you're a woman and you met a guy and he like neglects and abuses children. At that point, why would you, like, you'd have to be so disgusted by the person, you'd have no interest in them whatsoever, and you'd want to not be around them at all. Plus, you'd actually feel like, if this person's like that, well, then you'd have to, like, feel scared of them as well. At least that's my impression of this, that these people, that these guys, they're not leaving her because she's a mother. They're leaving her because she's a very argumentative, contentious person. She's very aggressive. She's very volatile. She's very fickle. She's very contentious. She's very argumentative. She's very aggressive. She's very, like, not peaceful. It makes you feel unsafe. It makes you feel like she's going to attack you. And it's just the fact that, like, the way she treats her own child is like, it's like the men in this situation, I don't think are leaving her because she's a single mother. I think they're leaving her because they're so fucking disgusted with her as a human being because of the way she treats her child. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you have a single mother. They're not leaving you because of Maria. They're not leaving you because you have a child. They're leaving you because you're an angry, hateful, contentious, very emotionally unstable, scary person who is very argumentative, and it's just nobody wants to deal with that, nor does anyone feel safe around that. And then there's the fact of the matter is this: they're not leaving you because you have a daughter. They're leaving you because they're so fucking disgusted at what a fucking hateful, selfish, abusive, negligent piece of shit you are. It's like, it has nothing to do with the fact, like, they're not leaving you because you have a daughter. They're leaving you because they're so disgusted with you as a human being for how you treat your daughter. I can tell by your mood. Yes, you're already like those other men. You don't want a woman with a child. You don't want a divorcee because that's a pain. Whatever happened to the original husband, father of Maria? You don't want to become the parent of a child made with another man, right? Again, the whole thing with the single mother thing, yes, that is a huge burden to take on. And that is a huge thing to... That is a huge step. I mean, you cannot ignore that that's a big deal. However, in the circumstance that the woman's not a psychotic, insufferable person, I don't think most men would care. And they would wind up raising the child as if it's their own. As well as they would have additional children with the woman. It would just be one big happy family. However, most men in general would avoid a single mother because in the end they know a lot of circumstances like this, the relationship will not work out, and, well, not only any children you have born to this woman will probably be taken from you, at which point that'll be very heartbreaking, but also this child who was from another man whom you chose to care about and grew to love as though that child was your own child as well, is then taken away from you as well. Even if you were married at one point, you would have no legal. And then again, a lot of times men don't really have a lot of, essentially rights to their own kids, even if it is their own biological child born in wedlock and everything. But the main point is, it's at that point we're talking about risk assessment and everything like that. And yes, the main point is this. One, there's a risk assessment, and then there's also cost assessment. I mean, the economy is kind of an issue. But the main issue is that it is a lot to ask of anybody. And you have to at least acknowledge that. But I would say most men out there, if there was, if they had an honest expectation that the marriage would work out and the woman wasn't psychotic and wouldn't, go out of her fucking mind, I don't think they would care. I think in a situation where, it's a good faith situation where you feel you can actually trust the woman and you can actually have a happy family and the woman will actually appreciate you and appreciate, the fact that, okay, it is a big deal to take on a single mother when, she already has a child. At that point, if the men at least feel that that's appreciated and understood, then I don't think men would have a problem with that. But it's the fact there is a lot of cost and risk involved. And when it really comes right down to it is this. Will they be given respect in that regard? Will they be able to be respected as that child's parent? Will the single mother in that question actually appreciate them? And in the situation that the single mother and it's like most people expect a relationship to fall apart. So not only will you lose any children you have yourself with that woman, and that's another thing, it also becomes like a red flag sort of issue. Like, here's the thing. If you do get a single mother in that situation, you're planning to have kids with that woman as well. But if you see how she's treating her own child already, then that tells you, hey, This is how she's like, if I have children with this woman, that's how she's going to treat those children as well. And what father would want to have children, be raised by an abusive, negligent mother? But main point is this. Men want to feel amount of trust, reassurance, appreciation. And like one of the biggest things, I'd say the biggest issue is this. Just the way she's acting right now. Like I'd say the biggest thing is this. Like men aren't going to just leave a woman because she has a kid. However, the way she's behaving right now and getting angry at him, like, yeah, you'd probably leave the woman over that. After all, like, you don't want to be getting yelled at all the time or feel like you can't raise any sort of opinion or have a discussion without it just being just a complete, just like the apocalypse. Like you should feel like you have, like in any relationship, you shouldn't feel like you have to walk on eggshells. And you should feel that you can have an open discussion with somebody as long as you're trying to be civil with them. Like you're not trying to insult them and you're just trying to actually care. But it's like, and that's another thing, a lot of times men will either stop pursuing a woman or stop caring about a woman if they feel like they're stuck in a relationship. It's just, if you feel like anytime you care, it's weaponized against you. Because that's the thing, like he's actually, like, he hasn't said anything bad here. He's actually said like reassurances over and over for her that, hey, he still loves her and he wants to be with her and he has no intention of leaving her. He's voicing that he cares about her and about her child. I mean, technically, if you are trying to pursue a boyfriend or whatever, I mean, shouldn't you actually want someone who's actually caring about that sort of stuff? Or do you just plan to never have an actual, settled down family again? But yeah, it's like, it's just the main thing. Like you see like the way she treats Maria. So it's like in that situation, why would you have children with this woman? Because the way she treats Maria is going to be the way she treats your children. But I would say this. The biggest reason why any man would leave Rosa here is the way she's behaving. I mean, she's very, very aggressive. Like, this is not something somebody wants to be around, nor does it make you feel safe. And at the end of the day is this. They're not leaving you because of Maria. They're leaving you because of your behavior, because you're psychotic. But more than that, even more important than that, is this, the way you treat Maria. Like, it's an issue of... It'd be like, imagine you went on a date with someone and you thought, oh, this person's really sexy and attractive, and then you find out that they helped down the Holocaust or something, like they were actually like doing like Nazi experiments on Jewish children or something. I don't know, like, oh, like you look through their pictures and you find, oh, here's pictures of them hanging Jews in the Auschwitz. Like, I feel at that point, you're gonna not like them anymore. That's what this is. Yes, I'm comparing her mistreatment of her daughter, Maria, the neglect and abuse, to, Amon Gepth from, the concentration camps, killing and mistreating Jewish prisoners of the Holocaust. It'd be like, it's like, oh, I met this person. They're really sexy and hot. And then you find a picture of them in their like SS uniform with a bunch of like children hanging from a tree with their eyes bulging out of their heads. And it's like, no. So that's the main thing I'm going with here. Aside from the fact that it's like really uncomfortable with the way you're like acting like this, Rosa. Like you're yelling and you're being very aggressive and contentious, and I don't like that. And it also makes me feel like I can't have a conversation with you or express an opinion or care about it. Then, because at this point, it's like you're teach. What the lesson you're teaching is that I shouldn't care, because at this point, if I'm caring about you or about your child, you're weaponizing it against me as an attack. So at that point, it teaches me the lesson that me caring about you is seen as bad, and me caring about you will result in punishment of you getting angry and hateful toward me. Heck, I expect Rosa's just gonna suddenly like snap at this guy and kill him. Like, is he gonna be dead? Is Rosa going to murder him? Is Rosa about to commit murder? Like, that's the other thing. It's like, in general, like, the whole concept, don't stick your dick in crazy. Like, it's like, oh, this girl's really attractive. Yes, but now she's trying to kill you. Like, or like, oh, she's got nice tits. Yes, but she's yelling all the time. And she's throwing things. It's like, there's a problem. Again, went off a bit of tangent here. I'm just saying this. I feel like my perspective here is that the men in this situation, even all the men before this, did not leave Rosa because she has a daughter. They do not care that she's a single mother. They do, however, care that she's an abusive, negligent cunt, and that she is yelling and also even emotionally abusive to us. I mean, at this point, she's yelling at him, projecting, gaslighting, and trying to manipulate him, and just shouting him down, and just trying to like yell at and pressure, like, oh, you think this and this. Oh, you're gonna betray me. You're gonna do this. Like, it's oh my god, fuck. Heck, it's kind of that thing where, like, you have a woman that's cheating on you, and then she winds up accusing you of cheating on her, and it's like she's really emotionally like invested in it, like it's an absolute truth to her, and it's like, what? It's like, and usually, like, from a man's perspective in that situation, you're like, what? Like, it's just like the record hits a skip. You're like, I don't understand what's happening. What? And you're just sort of flabbergasted. You're like, what the fuck's happening? Like, this doesn't make sense. I really need to remember to bring Pepsi. Like, but yeah, I'm just saying this. Like, even this man right here, I don't think he was gonna like leave Rosa or anything. Like, I don't think he has a problem with Rosa having a child. In fact, it seems like he legitimately cares about Rosa as a person, and legitimately cares about, Maria as a person, and he cares about Rosa and Maria's relationship as mother and daughter. I mean, that's just part of, one, being a decent human being. I mean, you'd have to be a real piece of shit or completely uninvested emotionally to not, because, I mean, one, just basic, human, I don't know, soul, having a soul. But more importantly is this: if you were in a relationship with Rosa and you legitimately care about her as a person, well, then you would care about her as a person, and you would care about her daughter because, that's an important part of her, as a person. I mean, you would have to care about both people. And that's also probably another reason why some people are a bit hesitant about the whole single mother thing, is because it is not only, it's a huge emotional investment. Because not only are you caring about this person, but you're caring about the relationship with this other person and this other person. As the man in that situation, you are now worried about and concerned about this child. And the day is this: even if you marry this woman, and even if you were to like adopt this kid, you still have no rights to that child, and the relationship ends. Well, all that emotional investment, all you actually caring about that person is just ripped and torn away. Like, okay, you actually love that child as if they were actually your own, and then poof. Let alone if you have any children yourself with the woman. But I think most men, if they felt that it was appreciated and the woman was, not acting the way she is right now, and they had assurances that the relationship would work out and that the woman would, be loving and caring to them, I think most men wouldn't care. They would raise Maria as their own daughter, and they would have more children with Rosa, and they would all just be brothers and sisters, and the man would love all of them, and it would just be one big happy family. Like, and I kind of get the impression, like, it's just, but here's the thing. Still kind of want to know, like, what happened to Maria's actual father. Is he dead? Did Rosa kill him? Did they get divorced because Rosa cheated on him? Was Rosa just so psychotic and violent that, you know, the man basically had to be away from Rosa to not be murdered by her in cold blood as she was a psychopath? Did she just divorce him on a whim and throw him away because she was fucking bored? Like, what's happening here? The main point is, that's another concern, like, people would have in this situation. Like, okay, what happened in this situation? Because a lot of people are then concerned of whatever happened with this previous person that was with her. What's to stop that from happening to me? What happened in this situation? What risk am I facing? And that's the thing. It's like anything people do, they're going to have a risk cost, analysis. Like, what are the benefits and what are the negatives that come of it? But in general, like, I get the impression that this man had no intention of leaving Rosa. And especially, if nothing else, not because of Maria. Like, he has no problem with her being a single mother. It's the fact that, one, Rosa is a very angry, yelly person. Two, how could you be anything but disgusted with Rosa? With just seeing how she treats Maria, with how she talks to Maria, how she talks about Maria, how she's abusive to Maria, how she neglects Maria, how she abandons her. At that point, how could you feel anything but disgust for Rosa? It'd be like, imagine if Rosa came up to you and said, oh, I used to have like 4 kids, but I killed all of them. It's like, why would you ever want to touch that person? At that point, you would feel like that person's like just covered in maggots at that point. You'd feel like so disgusted by the person, you would never want to see or touch them ever again. And you'd feel like they're just some sort of like cryptid. Like, you'd feel that they are a demon. Because at that point, like, Rosa, we're not disliking you because you're a single mother. We're disliking you because you're yelling at us. And because you seem really emotionally unstable. And because we feel unsafe around you. And we don't feel trusted or respected or appreciated. But most of all is this. We don't have a problem with you being a single mother. We don't have a problem with Maria. We do have a problem with what a disgusting, despicable piece of shit you are. The fact that, by the way, guys, why is the background a cat? Like, here's the cat's nose. Here's his eye. Here's the part over his little cheek thing. Here's his whiskers. Here's the cat's mouth. Why is this a cat? Why is the background a cat? Like, this is the pupil. Why is the background a cat? Okay. I want to get off the screen. I'm bothered by the background being a cat. That is glaring at Rosa. And it's going... Why is the cat licking its lip and it's going to eat Rosa? Why is the background a giant cat that is going to eat Rosa? Okay, that's very distracting. Yeah, fuck. Just saying. No one cares that you're a single mom, Maria. I mean, Rosa. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you're a single mother, Rosa. Nobody has any problem with Maria. Maria's fine. And in fact, like, we have no problem with Maria at all. In fact, we care about Maria as well. The problem I do have is that you're yelling a lot, and that I'm also really disgusted with you because of the horrible way you treat your daughter. Like, I feel like you're a demon. So, like I said, I'm not leaving you, Rosa, because you're a single mother. I'm leaving you because you're a hateful, psychotic person who is like unpredictable and unsafe to be around. And I am just really grossed out by your horrible behavior of your daughter. You're a monster. Yes, that's right. I totally get it. I once went out with a man with children, so I really get how you feel. That's why I believed I'd be able to be together with you, a person who understood about my daughter. Gua. Cough, cough. That's right. You were always in the way. That's not a nice thing to say, Rosa. If only you didn't exist, I would have been able to grasp my happiness as a woman long ago. Well, you're a piece of shit. Like, that's just... what the fuck? And again, it's just as fuck. Like, that's... at this point, it'd be like... why don't you just tell her that you wish you had aborted her? Like, fuck. Because you exist, you were always in the way of my happiness. Mama? Even I didn't want you to be born. You know, I feel like at some point I'm going to watch the anime to see the proper pacing of that word. But it's like, the point, like, Maria's, like, really fucking, like, psychotically angry herself. But justifiably, mind you. Like, she was, like, having her mom torn away, and she's like, kill her, kill her. But at this point, it's like, even though she's all hurt and angry about the stuff that she's been wronged about, like, at this point, Rosa saying what she's saying now is still so awful that it's like, even with what Maria's been through, it's still like, Ma? Like, it's catching Maria off guard. She's like, oh. But at this point, it's just, okay, you're just... that, just saying, painful thing to do. And again, the dude in the other, you know, flashback, he doesn't care that you're a single mother and that you have Maria. That doesn't matter. He does care that you're the kind of person that would yell at your daughter, telling her that you wish she'd never been born. Or you're the kind of person that would neglect your child or abuse her or hit her a bunch or yell at her all the time or leave her abandoned for several days on end to go, you know, on a rendezvous with the dude, and you don't seem to give a shit about her. Or you're the kind of person that would tear apart her stuffed animal best friend in front of her. That was also her psychological crutch, who she talked to as a real person, in front of her, and then screamed at her, Sakutaru is dead. Your best friend is dead. And then, you know, smack her some more. Let alone, you know, yell at your daughter, I wish you had never been born and I hate you. It's like, yeah, I mean, how could you feel anything but disgust for somebody that would treat their child in such a way? I mean, unless your child turned out to be like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that, at which point you're like, you know, at the courthouse and your child's arrested for like being a cannibal or something and a mass murderer. Like there's probably some situations where you're like, you know, emotional, like, I could probably understand you wishing the child never been born, like if they turn out to be like a sucking serial killer. Like if you were to like resurrect Hitler's parents and you just put a picture book in front of them of the life events of Hitler. I imagine Hitler's parents, I don't know, his father might be proud. I mean, given the little bit you read about Hitler's dad, I get the impression that Hitler's dad would actually be happy about it. So it's kind of like Kenzo in this situation. Like I was mentioning in the previous episode, how like Jessica and Battler were so disgusted with like their parents and the other adults for how like they felt it was very disgusting. They were disgusted with, again, like I was saying, like how somebody would be disgusted with Rosa about her personality, about how her child is. Battler and Jessica were disgusted with their parents and the aunts and uncles for how greedy they were. And yet Kenzo himself was, to those same people that he raised, was condemning them for not being greedy or violent enough. So I mean, maybe like imagine if you had someone yell at you and say that they were disappointed in you for not killing people, or they were disappointed in you for not doing something evil. Like imagine if you took that to like the logical extreme, or like the most extreme version of that possible. Like imagine if Jesus showed up and told you that he was ashamed of you and disappointed in you for not becoming Michael Myers. Like imagine if you just, like, Jesus showed up and said he was disappointed in you for not being a mass murderer. Or like the ghost of Martin Luther King Jr. showed up and said he wanted you to cannibalize people. I'm trying to think of something more outlandish. Mahatma Gandhi? Abraham Lincoln? Socrates? I mean, imagine if you were like... imagine if it was like Einstein shows up and tells you to run over homeless people. The only people I think of like Dexter's Lab or Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. But you get what I mean. Like, imagine if like whatever you considered a role model or a father figure or an authority figure or what you consider to be a representation of good or whatever your belief system's based on, and that showed up and told you to do something reprehensible, or even said that it was disappointed in you for not doing something or imagine like if Jesus showed up and said you were going to go to hell unless you killed people. It's like, I'm very confused about like where I started with this. Like where, no, that's not it. Why do I feel like you're about to say something even worse, Rosa? But main point is this, like, in general, like, there's no reason for a parent to be upset with their child unless there's, like, some major thing fucking go wrong. But at the same time, I can also say this. I don't think Hitler's father would be disappointed with the way he turned out. Heck, if anything, it might tell him that he didn't do enough. So, yeah, that's kind of an odd way to look at that. But you guys get what I'm trying to say about that, where it's like, imagine if you had some, like, whatever you can considered an arbiter of good or justice or righteousness. Like, basically, if Jesus showed up and said they were disappointed in you for, I don't know, not gooning enough. To use popular internet lingo. Or being greedy enough, or vain enough, or like that. I mean, heck, there's a lot of churches where the pastors and preachers, like, they are very greedy, hypocritical, vain people. And they're just, sometimes they're very hateful people. Just saying, sometimes people in an authority figure position aren't actually good role models. For example, in this situation, Rosa. You know, when it's all said and done, Rosa is not a good role model for Maria. And in a lot of situations, I would say Rosa's probably going to say things to Maria, judging her based off of, I can't think of the correct word. I can't think of the correct word. Criteria? Basically judging her by criteria that aren't logical or even good. That you're either judged by something that doesn't make sense, that's completely crazy, or you're judged by something that's actually clearly immoral. It'd be like you're being criticized on morality. And it's like the two ways of looking at it. You can either be like the extreme disconnect of like, imagine if you were being criticized for littering by fucking Charles Manson. It's like, excuse me, you've done much worse. But in the same regard, whether it was somebody that's good or bad, like imagine if like either way you look at it, like imagine like if like Hitler shows up and says he's disappointed in you for being too greedy or not greedy enough or being just like him or like whatever. It's like the main point is this. Same with a Kenzo. Kenzo's not a good parent in this situation. Like Kenzo, like we know how he is to his kids and how he's behaved even since they were young. Like heck, the whole thing where he's going to like, you know, test his grandkids. I feel like whatever test he's going to think of will probably be abusive. I mean, heck, there's always that concept where you yell at someone and saying like, you know, you need to grow up and be an adult. And the person yelling at you, their idea of being a grown up or an adult is you need to be more violent. That you're a disappointment because you're not violent enough. And it's like, at that point, some people say in some situations the only winning move of a game is not to play. But at that point, it's like, it's not. It's like at that point the only winning move is to purposely lose. If the game is, you know, how fucking despicable you can be, rather than just not play, just lose the game at that point. And just choose not to try to win by that criteria. It'll be like, okay, if the winning criteria is being evil, then I'm perfectly fine with losing that round. I'll just be myself regardless of like what the world or anything thinks of me, and I'll just be a good person even if the world wants you to be a bad person. It's just, everything about this is fucked up. And I feel like, again, we're not even halfway through the story. Even I didn't want you to be born. No, that's not it. I thought I might be able to build a happy family together with you, but that man disappeared right before your birth. He said he built a warm family with me, tricked me, and disappeared from my sight for all eternity. Only you were left. No love or memories or anything remained. Where did that man go? He probably just turned my days with him into a warm memory and met with a new love. He's probably dead. Either you had a psychotic break and you killed him, or maybe Kenzo killed him. Or maybe he died from a car accident. I don't know. I'm assuming that he's dead. I'm assuming that he's dead. And this time he might have been able to create a happy family. And as for me, I have you. I can't even look for a new love. Men can go between women as they like and brag about it. But for a woman, for me, I have you. I had you as a stone weight. And because of you, I can't search for romance. I can't find love, and I can only live alone. Rosa, you're an awful person. No, I wasn't even allowed that. I wasn't even allowed a night to drink myself drunk all alone. Who are you? You had a lot more than just a night. You at least did it like 100 times. Who? You wasted my life and won't even let me have a new life. Just who are you to my life? Die. Disappear. I've hated you since the time you were born. I've hated you since the time you were in my womb. I've been doing my best to act like a good mother so that I'd be accepted by the outside world. Yes, I've done my best. As I've watched other women of my generation praise being single, sometimes playing with passion or even being joined with someone in love, I was stuck being a mother and a woman. Both. Whoever showed appreciation for my efforts. No one admired me, no one praised me. I got what I deserved. Secondhand goods. Divorcees should die. You don't want anyone who's not a virgin. I'm the one who doesn't want anything to do with you, you damn inexperienced virgin brats. I was so desperate I probably looked like an easy woman to you. Yes, I was desperate. You probably couldn't imagine how desperate a woman like me, who's still at the age where she wants to know love, was, when I realized that my time was being filled with work and caring for my child, so that I'd probably grow old and end my life still like this. Of course I hate your real father too, but we both share the blame for bringing about that catastrophe. I myself might have been persistent enough to make him run away, but the catastrophes after that were all your fault. When did I ever scold you for that? Never, right? Why is that right the way Beatrice talks to Battler? The day after one man left me, when I wanted to drink myself dead drunk, was Parents' Day at your school, when I tried to hide my tear-stained eyes with heavy makeup. The way I felt when you said something off the mark, and the whole class laughed at you, is something that not only you, but probably everyone in the world couldn't understand. I hate you, loathe you, and until now, I've never really loved you even once. Wow. I assume that was Maria crying there. Maria's face was still stiff. If the words really had been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained red with fresh blood by now. And in general, I would say this. Most men don't particularly care about if a woman's a virgin or not. Now, a man does care if you've been with 100 people. But again, that's not a sexist thing to say, because it applies to both genders and all orientations. Simply put, if you're a guy gonna go date another guy and you're gay, well, if that person's been with 100 other people, well, at that point, it's a red flag for STDs, for... Like, it's one thing if a person's only been in a few relationships and they didn't exactly work out. But if a person's, shared that part of themselves that was special with so many people, then it means it really doesn't mean much of anything to them. And it also means, what do they think about you? How much do they care about you? And also at that point, if a person's been with that many people, then it's a concern of, well, is that person more likely to cheat? Is that person going to actually value the relationship? How serious are they taking the relationship? And even then, if you're treated in a certain way, and it's like, okay, you're being treated in a worse way, at which point, but then this person's been with 50 other people and they've treated all those other people better than you. So at that point, that's directly calling that, you're valued less and they don't actually care about you. And at that point, it really amounts to this. It's, again, risk assessment and a person weighing, is a relationship safe? Does this person actually love you? Will they cheat on you? Do they care about you? At the end of the day, you want to know that this person actually values you and the relationship. So at the end of the day, I really don't think anyone cares about if someone's been with 1 or 2 people. However, because here's the thing, I'd imagine you meet someone, you find out they've had sex with 1,000 different people. Yeah, that's going to be a bit disgusting. 2, it's going to raise red flags in terms of STDs, and about this person doesn't value that part of themselves at all. They don't see it as special, and they're unlikely to be faithful to you. And any relationship you have is going to be full of just conflict, and you're not going to be able to be happy. It's just an issue of what kind of person is the person, and, well, can you trust them? Do they care about you? People care about whether or not, the other person cares about them, and whether or not the person can be trusted. People like someone they can trust and feel safe with. People like someone that see them as special and actually care about them, and someone they can rely on. Even after gaining the power of a witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Sakutaro, she couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth. Mama, oh. Ugly. How ugly is a woman drowning in lust? Now you see this woman's true nature. Even I, as a witch who has explored the depths of evil, find this most difficult to watch. Maria, now is the time to part from her. Smash the ugly lump of meat that calls herself your mother. It would be pointless for your pure soul to be bound by the chains between mother and daughter any longer. With your own hand, release your own soul now. You have now gained the tooth and claw to protect yourself. Ooh. Now you'll taste the pain I had to go through. Now take revenge for those days of suffering. Ah. Aren't you the one who's been hurting me? I'm the one who wants revenge. I should have done that before you were born. If only you hadn't been born. Disappear. Yeah. As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word splat, her upper body was crushed, and in an instant became something similar to a wrung, blood-stained towel. Be crushed. I can't forgive you. Can't forgive you. Hoo, what filth. Is Rosa still conscious during this? Like, normally you wouldn't be able to be conscious during this. But, we're kind of not on Earth anymore. That form suits you. Even though Rosa's waist and below was standing normally, the upper half of her body had been pinched, and that extreme contrast was bizarre. Then she fell over, but the instant she fell, her body was restored. Cough, cough, cough. You die. Come, Maria. Is this the limit of your anger and sadness? So is Battler and Angie aware of this stuff going on? Now is the time for revenge. Time for the settlement of anger and sadness. Hit her. Spit her out. Push out all the wedges driven into your chest and fling them back at her. Wow. Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time, as Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread-eagled. A neat, perfect circle was cut out of her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart, her lungs, and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they were completely indistinguishable. It might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today. So, Maria, are you satisfied now? Can you forgive your mother for her sin or not? Innocent or guilty? I can't forgive her. Not yet. Not yet. Mama is guilty, 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 guilty. I can't forgive her. Indeed, how could this level of punishment compare to the bitter days you suffered through? Know it, Rosa. Come, try to remember what form did you have. Revive in order to be killed. Be killed over and over so that your sins can be purified. When Beata waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in apparent pain. And once again she spat out curses, rejecting Maria. You aren't Mama. You're a witch tormenting me and Mama. I won't forgive you just because you look like Mama. I won't forgive you. You're the witch, aren't you? Always reading creepy books and pretending to play with witches. You're the one who should disappear. Because of you, even I am treated like a freak. Because of you, because of you. If only you hadn't been born. Don't be born. I've hated you since before you were born. Wah! Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness, or else had she been taken over by an indescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness, and yet it was a reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she was thought of as a burden. But even though she herself had known that, she didn't believe it. She'd believed that her mother loved her, and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have made her doubt this, trusting and clinging to her mother's love. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama, and wanted to return to the days when she believed that Mama loved her. So I howled. I'll erase all of it. I won't accept it. I'll deny it. I'll deny the mother who says these things, the black witch who makes her say them, and the part of myself that can't forgive my mother, but I can't deny it. This is reality, the fact, the truth, the answer. Without any mistake, this is absolute reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over in the dark world that reflected her heart, rang the ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make anyone want to cover their ears. Each time Beatrice revived Rosa, she dragged her back into the world of endless torture, which could not be escaped from even by death. This was the true deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will, because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, she asked the same question to Maria. Cackle, cackle. Are you satisfied, Maria? Can your anger forgive your mother yet? How could I forgive her? How could I forgive her? I won't forgive her. I'll teach you all of my pain. Teach you much, much more. It's still not enough, not close to enough. Since before I was born, I can't get rid of the anger and sadness of being neglected so long. Foo-hee-ha-ha. Hate you. I hate you. Hate you. Foo-hee-ha. Uga. Revive over and over again. Return to meat. Lump over and over again. In various ways she crushed, smashed, beat, and tore to bits. Flying blood, splatter, and flesh turned the once pitch-black world into a world mixed with red and black. And I noticed that Maria's crying a bit while occasionally starting to laugh a little. I feel like the more Maria lashes out at this, the more she's actually hurting herself. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. Stop using the death note, Maria. It didn't work out for Light Yagami. It was as though she was spitting out all of the suppressed rage from the time of her birth until today. If that all became poison to her heart, then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? No, it's actually going to make it worse. Would even this wasteful murder save her soul at the least a little bit? This endless torture might have become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she'd finally been able to regain her smile. Learn it. You, the source of my unhappiness. Learn it. Learn that what you're feeling is nothing compared to my pain. What's wrong? Why'd you stop laughing? Try and laugh. Yak. Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered. Come on, revive. Try and laugh. Come on, come on! Her whole chest, along with her ribs, turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All of them writhed like some kind of impure creature. Come on, come on, come on, revive! Can you still laugh? Can you still laugh? Rosa couldn't laugh anymore, but her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh and covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next, I'll erase that laughing face. I'll erase it, I'll crush it, I'll tear it to bits. Laugh. Try and laugh, Mama. Ki-hee-hee-ha-ha. What's wrong, Mama? Let's wake up, read a picture book, and go take a walk. Let's say we love each other. Make a promise for next Sunday. Let's go shopping. Let's go to the movies. And of course, you'll break that promise. Ki-hee. Isn't it fun, Mama? Isn't it fun, Mama? I'm playing with Mama now, right? Ki-ha-ha-ha-ha. That's right. You are now playing with your mother, having fun with her. Tell me how you feel right now. I don't believe it's anger or sadness or pain. Yeah, that's right. I get it, Beatrice. I'm having a lot of fun now. I'm playing with Mama, so it's tons of fun. Yeah, you've just had a psychotic break. That's what's happened. And even though I'm killing Mama over and over, again, she can be revived with just a single bit of magic. I took care of my toys because I couldn't fix them if they broke. But if the toy can be fixed, I'd want to break it over and over again. Are you going to start crying again? But Sakutaro won't be fixed. He can't be fixed, because Mama who made him, Mama who gave birth to him, won't acknowledge him. I wasn't acknowledged by Mama either, was I? So the broken Maria won't be fixed either. Kee. Kya ha ha ha. It's fun, Mama. Since it's gotten so fun, I'm somehow starting to feel that I could forgive you. Hey, Beato, this is a very strange feeling. Why? Why am I starting to feel like I can forgive Mama? That enlightened state is only reached by witches who have gained the power to control life and death at will. It seems more like she's having a dissociation. You can kill at any time. You can revive her if needed. If that's a pain, then it's alright to kill her again. Once you've learned that you can do this at any time by simply snapping your fingers, all nonsense spoken in the world of humans becomes a chirping of insects that isn't worth listening to. You didn't begin to think about forgiving your mother because your eyes were open to your mother's love. It was because now you stand at the entrance to the world of true witches. Again, I feel like this is like Griffith with Berserk, like the change in mental state between using a Behelit more like you just sort of like fried some part of your brain that lets you feel like, I don't know, empathy, bonding, compassion, remorse, sympathy. Welcome, Maria, to the profound and sweet world of witches. It seems more like you guys are just... It seems like you guys are just like on meth. Like that it just seems like you're like, it's like an extreme narcotic high or something. I've done it. Maria is no longer Maria. I may still be an apprentice, but I've surpassed the human world. I am now the apprentice witch of origins, Maria. There's nothing to frustrate me, nothing to make me sad. Mama, I'll forgive you. I'm sure I can forgive you. I think I'll be able to forgive you after doing just a bit more. After all, I'm a witch. Hee. And then we proceeded to Five Nights at Freddy her. Over and over again. Maria would probably forgive her mother eventually, after brutally murdering her countless times, graciously. Are Battler and Angie aware of what just occurred? Black screen! Ow, my eyes! Wow, that last thunder was loud. Right, Maria's asleep. Must have been pretty close, right? Looks like it. No matter how old you get, thunder still makes you jump. Battler was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it. How you doing, Maria? Doing good? How'd you sleep? Oh. Look, you were so noisy you woke up Maria. Maria up. Sorry, Maria. Sorry Battler's so freaking loud. What the hell, so it's my fault? Sorry, Maria. It's okay to go back to sleep. Good night. Maria was a bit hazy with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep and couldn't think straight. Ooh? That's okay. I won't sleep. Nah, go ahead and sleep. You're still half asleep, aren't you? He? I'm not half asleep. Ooh. Come on, you're totally half asleep, aren't you? Sleep, sleep. I'm not half asleep. I'm not half asleep. Ooh. Ooh. Quit it, stupid battler. Ah, sheesh, what are you thinking getting a kid who's just woken up into a bad mood? I'm not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ooh. I understand, Maria-chan. You aren't half asleep, so calm down. Not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ooh. Ooh. Maybe it was because of her delicate mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Battler had only been trying to tease her a bit, so he was confused by this extreme overreaction. George held her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't going to be quelled easily. Battler and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying it's your fault too. Hey, be quiet, you two. Jessica-chan, there was still some hot water in the pot, right? Could you make some tea for her? Did you calm down? Maria-chan? Ooh. It looked like her tantrum was dying down, bit by bit. I also think part of this is like, when we... Granted, Ava did kind of go fully off kilter at the very end. But you could see like she was struggling a bit with some things earlier on, and that the version of her that was when she was sleeping was much more psychotic. It could be that waking world Maria at least has a little bit more attachment to human emotions still. Still has a bit of compassion, perhaps even guilt and shame, and even terror at having such a dream. That even if you could reassure that it was nothing but a dream, it would still be... She would still feel a bit scared, grossed out, saddened by, even ashamed of having the dream that she did. But she still glared at Battler, who had made fun of her with sharp eyes. I mean, he was in good nature about it. Battler-kun was just kidding around. He doesn't really think you're half asleep, so calm down. Okay? George noticed. Maria was staring at Battler with incredible eyes. She then tried to stab him. And despite having just displayed all that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more like she was muttering while thinking about, or else counting each he. As though each time she said he, something brutal would happen over and over. Is she imagining murdering Battler in her head for joking with her? George felt something creepy for just an instant, but he couldn't spot the madness that peeked out from the depths of the girl's eyes for just a moment. Are we sensing killing intent? Are we sensing malice from her? After a short period of stunned silence on George's part, Maria stopped her bizarre, quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside as though telling him to let go. Ooh, I'll forgive him. But really? You're such a good girl, Maria. Battler-kun, Maria-chan forgave you. Make up. Yeah, sorry for teasing you. Forgive me. Hey, Maria, let's make some cafe au lait as a sign that you've made up. I'll put in lots of sugar so it'll be sweet. I don't need it, but I'll forgive you. Because I'm a witch. Key? One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice. But it was only for a very short time, so Battler and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that it had probably only looked that way when the lightning lit her cheek with a pale white light for an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. It was already about 10:30 late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't supposed to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was far from calming. Then, along with a clearly ominous knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices that clearly told them that this was an abnormal situation. Children! Are you there? Are you there? It's Goda! It's Kumasawa! Is everything okay? What has happened? What has happened? When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. Well, I'm glad to see that your first instinct upon escaping people brutally trying to murder people was to try to warn the survivors! I.e. us. It looked like they had dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella. Well, what's wrong, you two? Did something happen? It was the master and Kraus and everyone. Okay, so how much time's going by? It's only a couple minutes. It would take longer than that to explain the story. Like, no matter how fast Goda would talk, it would take longer. It was a pitch black room. There were no windows, and with the weak light bulb, one could barely make out the state of things around them. Okay, so all this is taking place before now. And so in the couple minutes since what happened, Goda, Kumasawa ran to the guest room, talked to us. So we're probably going to one of the people who were swallowed up by the blackness. Probably Kairi. It appeared to be old, forgotten underground storage room with some kind of dusty furniture haphazardly thrown into it. However, even with just a low light, one could at least make out that it probably wasn't a storage room. After all, the room was sealed off with iron bars. Where is this? Well, I'll go and end the video there. I'm sorry it ran on a little bit long. I've been saying I wanted to try to make the video a little bit shorter. And we got a little carried away by continuing the story a bit longer. But it's good. It's a good story. Thanks for joining me, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, bye.